more information, their website is schultzefamilybeef.com.
WRLR 98.3 FM LP, Round Lake Beach, Illinois.
Good evening. Welcome into the big show for a Monday. The first Monday of April. Of course, it doesn't look like it outside. It doesn't feel like it outside, but we're going to keep things warm and toasty inside. Ron Curtis Grace in the studio. Rusty Silver back here. And I want to thank all those fine people that were in the studio last week when I was in absence, enjoying the warmth of Arizona. Because I was listening to you guys, Ron Curtis Grace. I was listening to the show, and you guys didn't want to contact me because you're probably better off. I was on a golf course listening to you guys, and I was like, you guys are in a cold, warm, toasty studio, and I'm sitting there at about 80 degrees, breezy conditions, and couldn't beat a beautiful evening that was going on out there.
It was fine by me.
Mm-hmm.
The studio was comfortable. My car was comfortable. And when I got home, my home was comfortable.
Well, you had Lou here. You had Jill. Anybody else that you had in the studio last Monday, or no? Is that it?
Well, Marty came in, as he always does.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was, I know Tiffany wanted to come in, but she couldn't make it. But you guys were good. You guys were excited. You didn't need me. Forget it.
Yeah, well, actually, I think at one point Lou said that you should take more time off.
Oh, well, taking a spring break, I don't mind going out to Arizona. I get a chance to see my mom out there who's trying to be okay, 82 years old, making through things. As you get older, as you know, it gets tougher. So
I wouldn't know anything about that.
No, but you're young. You're about 29. But
yeah, right.
She's in her 80s, and just things are starting to catch up with her. Let me just say it that way.
Yeah, but she's still sharp as a tack because I talked to her while you were out there.
Yeah, well, not early part of the week. You know, she had some situation. She was in the hospital. I got her out of the hospital, and she was a little bit dizzy and weak. And once she got the right medication to take, she was okay. That was fine after that. I mean, we even took a ride down to Tucson and checked out Mount Lemmon by Sunday. And that's a real cool place to go to outside of Tucson and Catalina Mountains. And I got a kick out of going up 9,000 feet. It was 45 degrees up there, but the sights are unbelievable. I think I put some pictures up on my Facebook page of some of the views that you get out there, and it's just fascinating. You just look at it, and if you're afraid of heights, you're in trouble. I mean, I got off the road, not driving off the road, but I parked and I walked inside this fenced-in area on rocks, which you had to be careful because they were weathered a bit. And I walked out a couple hundred feet, and I'm looking over the landscape of what are these mountains, what they look like. Not much vegetation. There wasn't much rain or anything. I'm looking for wildlife. I didn't see much more than eagles or hawks, but that's about it. Someone said there were bears out there. I didn't see any of those or run into any, but the views are just fantastic. I know I was taking pictures. Some other people are sitting there with their cameras. It's just fascinating. It's great. And there was snow up there about 7,000 feet. Not a full blanket of snow, just patchy snow. And I went up to 9,200. That's the highest you can go to. I want to see this observatory at 9,200, but it was closed on Sunday, unfortunately. And I laughed because I was asking this family, hey, is that observatory open? And he said, no, unfortunately it's closed because it's the weekend. And they were actually from Arlington Heights. And I'm laughing because here it is. You're 9,200 feet. You're on vacation outside of Tucson in the mountains, and you run into somebody that's from 10 minutes away from you. That's just some strange luck that happens that way.
Well, if you wanted to see wildlife, why'd you go to Phoenix? You should have kept going to Vegas.
Vegas. What happened in Vegas with wildlife? I'm trying to figure out. What's always wildlife in Vegas?
That's my point.
Yeah. But I will say this too, because after going there, and it takes about an hour or so to get up the mountain. It's 25 miles on these zigzag roads, and make sure you drive. You got to share the road with cyclists and these guys that ride up the mountain. They look like you see them with big half muscles in the weight rooms. I mean, these guys are unbelievable, whether it's from the U of A or else the USA national team that rides on cyclists. They're just fantastic going up that mountain. That's tough. That is a tough climb. But you got to share the road with motors and bicycles, and coming down is a lot easier. But keep this in mind: it was 45 degrees at 9,200 feet. And we drive back down in about half hour, 45 minutes back at the bottom, and it was 77 degrees.
Yeah, that's typical.
It's about 3 degrees difference for every 1,000 feet, just so you know as you go up.
Now, as far as those cyclists, yeah, that can be tough unless you're taking those PEDs.
True. I see what you're saying, but still, some people go up a couple 1,000 feet, take the bicycle off the car, and then ride up a couple 1,000 feet and then come back down. Last time I went up there, I saw somebody said he camped out under the snow line, which was 6,000 at the time, and went up to 8,000 feet because there's a place called Summer Haven. They have a nice restaurant there, a little pricey, typical for being, in a tourist trap. But you can actually get your food, sit out on the patio, and look over the hillside. Beautiful view. Beautiful view. I mean, it's great. I mean, it makes you feel like, wow, I'm up in the mountains. Kind of neat. But we didn't sit outside this time around, but it felt a little chilly, being in the about 50 degrees.
That was kind of how we felt when we visited several of the Greek Isles.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? 2023. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, on the way back down, we stopped at the University of Arizona. I've never had a chance to see that. Really nice looking campus. I thought their buildings were, really fresh and new. And I talked to a couple of people there, said that they built it up in the last 10 to 20 years. Kind of remind me of University of Illinois, but a little more upscale. I got a chance to see their basketball facility. I didn't get inside, of course. And I saw the stadium from the outside as well, where they play football. But, I hate to say Tucson doesn't really give me that look of a big town, more of a college town. I think Phoenix is more elaborate. I mean, it's got a lot of people there. You get a great view from above, up in the mountains. But I just wasn't taken back to say, hey, Tucson's exciting. I didn't have that feeling, being in that area. Of course, if you want to get yourself some good Mexican food, they have plenty of that there in the Tucson area.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a big deal as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't have to be swarming with people. I mean, as it stands, what's the population of Tucson? About 500,000?
Yeah, something in that order. Yeah, it's still a big town. I mean, 550,000 is a lot.
Yeah.
But it's kind of spread out. I guess they're known for their Wild West days. There's a lot of hiking, a lot of old Wild West type looking ghost towns. I was reading up on that. I didn't get a chance to go out and check any of those, and I'm sure I would have found those interesting, seeing the old buildings and who knows, some old ghosts that might be. And I'm sure they made some commercials in that area too.
Now, what's the water situation out there?
I'll say this: it seems relatively dry. I know when I left on Tuesday, they did get a little rain. In fact, I saw pictures in the last couple of days where I was last Sunday. They had a blanket of snow up there and up there in Summer Haven and Ski Valley. They got a little bit of snow, but they've only had, to be honest, I was reading up on this, maybe 1.75 inches in a calendar year around Arizona. That's it. That's not much rain if you think about it.
Well, I'm not even talking about from the rain aspect. I'm talking about the Colorado River.
Well, Lake Mead is on the downside. I read something on that.
Well, Lake Mead's dropping down to historically low levels.
Mm-hmm. Well, they've had a lot of rain, or not rain, but they've had a lot of snow up around Flagstaff, up in the northern part of Arizona, but not as much as they really want this past winter. They need more.
Matter of fact, I remember seeing some stories last year that certain areas out there, they were paying people, I forget how much, but X amount per square foot to dig up their yards and put anything other than grass. Mm-hmm. Some did astroturf, some did stones, some did cacti.
I thought there was some sort of tax exemption if you didn't have grass you can take in Arizona. I always thought that. Somebody told me that a number of years ago, and I'm still learning, what's going on in Arizona. Left and right, because things change around. I know where my mom lives, back in November, she's got grass outside her house, and she had sprinklers that weren't even on. They weren't coming on back in November because they had water restrictions out there dramatic. And I've never seen her grass look as brown as I've ever seen it, dormant season, kind of like what we see here before the grass turned green. I was like, wow, this is strange. And this time around, they're watering the grass and they're cutting the grass. Not to say it's growing that much, but I was like, oh, well, they've kind of lifted some water restrictions out there a little bit.
Well, Phoenix is paying $2 a square foot.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah. So you remove the grass, they'll pay you $2 a square foot.
Interesting. Well,
because that's even me around here. I'm not watering grass. I'm not doing it. I refuse.
Well, the cost of water is on the high side too.
Even if that was the issue, to me, this is potable water. Now, I'm just talking about myself. I'm not speaking for anyone else or against anyone else. But for me, my feeling is I'm going to take a resource like potable water, drinking water, and you've got communities and even counties and states that are in dire straits when it comes to drought conditions and low water tables and the like. And I'm going to use that to irrigate something that's not a crop. I just can't see myself doing that.
Mm-hmm. Well,
now, if you could smoke it or put it in a salad, that might be a little different.
Mm-hmm. I mean, nowadays, I'll be honest, the West needs more moisture. They're not getting the daily dose of rain that they're expect to have in the wintertime. Now, a little bit north, I think the northwest part of the country, Washington, Oregon, Northern California, they've gotten some pretty good rain over the last month or two. But down further south, they've had limited.
And I don't know, are you getting Bruce on later?
I wasn't planning on it today, no.
Oh, okay. Well, then we can talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on with the stretch of tornadoes?
Oh my goodness, you're right. I mean, I hate to say it, we entered March. You know how it's either a lamb or a lion. It was a lamb, but I'll tell you, the last 3 to 4 weeks has been a roller coaster ride. And you take a look at what storms have produced in the middle of the country, and even the last part of the weekend. By the way, I think Lou Bruno, who's got a house down in Effingham, got stuck down there this past weekend. I was trying to get him in contact with him and maybe in the pop on a little bit. He went back down to Effingham. He said he couldn't get out because the roads were full of water.
Matter of fact, I think they had flooding. I think I saw a piece that they had flooding at Churchill Downs.
Mm-hmm. Tell you the truth, I'm getting to wonder how Augusta's going to look like when they start the Masters this week. That's going to be interesting.
That's a good point.
Because with all the rain you had there, and they've had a lot of rain there. They were talking about a pouring rain this morning, and you got a golf course. You got a prestigious major tournament that's going to start there as of you got Pro-Ams the next couple of days. Wednesday, you got supposed to be the par 3 tournament. You're supposed to start the tournament on Thursday. And it's going to get cool out there, too. They just got done in Texas and it was cold on the final day. It's going to have some chilly mornings out there.
Well, I think they got hit with EF3s.
I thought I heard a 4 or 5 on a couple of locations. But this has been an evolving situation where this front is slowly moving. That what started out in Texas to southern Missouri and southern Illinois, extending into the Ohio Valley and now up the East Coast, it's just dragging its feet. And they're talking about places that have seen not just a few inches of rain. How about 8, 10, 12 inches of rain in a matter of a couple of days?
Yeah,
rivers can't handle it.
They're still trying to figure out how the tornadoes hit Louisville and missed Lexington.
That's amazing. I mean, it's scary. And I said this about a month ago, being down in Champaign when we did the state basketball on a Friday night, sirens going off at midnight. It is so scary because you cannot see at night those tornadoes. I mean, I was seconds away from running into a bathtub. I mean, you just don't know. You don't know what to expect at nighttime. That is the most scariest thing to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, it hit what? Kentucky, Tennessee, some parts of Missouri, I believe.
Yeah, and it continues to go on. This thing is not going to be over for a while because that water's got to go somewhere, and it's going to take time to level off. It's going to take time to recede. I don't know where it's going to go on top
When
of it.
when you see all these natural disasters and these generational biblical floods and storms, it people may whine about the cold weather here in the fall and winter, and they may complain that the landscape, the terrain is so flat.
hmm
But I tell you, I'm happy being right here in the middle of the country.
Well, let's hope that's a matter of speaking here. I want to bring this up. I know we talk about disasters, we talk about the flooding, maybe it's climate change. But have you heard about some of these volcanoes and earthquakes that are popping up? I know I read something about there were more recent earthquakes in Texas in the last week, which kind of surprised me. There was a number of there. And they're also talking about the possibility of a major volcanic eruption to happen here in the United States. I don't know if it's Yellowstone Park they're talking about or another one that's maybe up in the Northwest, closer either to Seattle or up by Alaska. But there's going to be something going about ready to blow in the United States.
I thought they were monitoring some volcano that was kind of active. I thought I read about that recently.
There's been a few of them. I mean, these volcanoes have been very active, and so is the earthquakes. I mean, Thailand last week got a big earthquake and demolished a bunch of buildings out there. Things are getting shaky, and I don't know what's going on with our inner crust of the earth lately, but a lot more, you know, earthquakes in recent month here than I've heard in a lot more days or last couple years.
Well, I guess there's an active one right now in Hawaii.
Yeah, that one's been going on and off for a while.
Yeah.
And someplace I'd like to go see. I know my buddy Mike McCarthy, he took a ride up there and got a chance to see it, but I think it was in its dormant stage. But I know it's been like off and on the last couple of years.
Well, here's the thing that got me. It's a shame to say we've gotten accustomed to it, but we've gotten accustomed to wildfires in out west and southwest. But as you'll recall, just a few months ago, we had wildfires in Jersey.
There's wildfires right now in North Carolina, extending into Virginia. I think this rain's going to help put a lot of that out. But the problem is the scar tissue that's out there. Just like you would think in California with Malibu and Pacific Palisades, you're going to get mudslides. You're going to get foundations are going to, go off its boundaries out there. You're going to have a lot of problems out there. It's scary what these families are going to have to do.
Well, as you said, in California, with all the burn scars, you've removed the vegetation. You get an excessive amount of rain. Now you got mudslides in addition to flooding.
Oh, scary. What's going on with our world here lately? Oh, my goodness.
The earth is groaning. And, people can argue back and forth as to whether or not the climate is changing or if it is, what's contributing to it. All I know is every time I turn around, I'm hearing somebody saying that, either we've never experienced this before or we haven't had anything like this in 80 years or 100 years. But as I say, I'll stick with cold, boring, flat Illinois. We've got plenty of fresh water.
Well, we've had tornadoes this way too. We've seen tornadoes,
but not like this.
Yeah, not to the extreme.
No. Yeah, we've had a few tornadoes, but we're not in a tornado alley by any stretch of the imagination. That's what I'm saying. No wildfires, no earthquakes, no biblical Noah in the Ark type of floods. And for all the knocking Illinois gets, there's one trait about Illinois that I'm real happy about.
Which is?
The state doesn't tax retirement income.
Oh, boy, you really had a good change on that, didn't you? Nice segue.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's for now. For now, you say that, right?
Yeah. That's all right. I'll take every day. You know, I'm not looking at the negative. I'm an optimist. The glass is always more than half full.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about the negative side of it. So, you know, you won't hear me say, well, for now. No, they're not doing it, period. You know, my Friday show, and I didn't get to talk to you about it because you were away.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the folks we honored on our spotlight stage was Johnny Mathis,
Ah, okay.
because he's going to be 90 in September.
90 already? Wow.
And he said that on March 26th, he announced that due to his age and memory issues that he said he's dealing with, he's going to be retiring from tours and concerts.
He's been on tour all this time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. As a matter of fact,
well, but then again, to be honest, if you can keep yourself going, and as you get older and you keep active, why not? Keep going if you got it.
well, look how long Tony Bennett was performing and recording and doing duets with younger singers. As a matter of fact, I remember seeing a piece about him. I think it might have been Anderson Cooper, but was with Tony and his wife and his accompanist. And his wife was talking about his memory issues and said, but as soon as his pianist starts playing a particular song, he's right back. His mind is right. He knows every lyric. Now he can forget. She said he can forget that he just met you 15 minutes ago. But there was something about the music that just gave him a cognitive boost, if you will. But Johnny Mathis said at this time, it looks like his final concert is going to be May 18th at the Bergen Performing Arts Society in Englewood, New Jersey.
Are you going to be out there to get this big interview?
Well, if he calls me and asks me to come, I'll go. Yeah, I haven't heard from Johnny in a while, so.
A good old friend of yours, so I could see that. So where do we want to go from here?
Well, I also Friday. I've been real busy.
I know you have. You're always busy. I took a vacation, and you're busier than I ever expected.
Well, Friday, the Leskowski family. I don't know if you're familiar with them. If you've been to an Ace Hardware in this general vicinity, you've been dealing with the Leskowski family. They just opened their 10th Ace Hardware in this area, and they opened it in the Lindenhurst Center, that mall that we've kind of brought back to life there. And they had their grand opening on their ribbon cutting on Friday, and they had invited the mayor and the rest of the public officials. So of our 6 trustees, 5 of us were there. The mayor was there. He assisted in the ribbon cutting. Our new chief of police was there, our village administrator, our new economic development coordinator, some of the guys from Public Works. It was a good turnout. They had a lot of people there. And then over the weekend, they had a donut truck there, and they were cooking up samples showing, I guess they had some folks from a couple of the grill manufacturers there, and they were showing off the grills. And what better way to show the versatility and the quality of a grill than to cook something on it.
Do they actually put what on there?
Oh, they had sausages and steak bites and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was getting to wonder what they were putting on there because steak sounds good.
yeah. It was just these were the manufacturers demonstrating their new products.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, people have been looking forward to this for quite some time. So it's a nice anchor there, and it saves me time and saves me gas because a lot of things that I end up going to Gurney to Home Depot. Now I can go 4 minutes from no, not even 4 minutes, 2 minutes from my house.
Wow.
Yeah, because when I went in there, some of the first things I was checking, I wanted to make sure they had the size I need for the furnace filter.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, they've got that. And then, as a matter of fact, I had to replace the shower head. They had one and it was strange. I got to tell you this. I don't know if you've ever done any kind of light plumbing work, but I picked up this particular shower head, and on the back of the package it said Teflon tape not needed.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking that just sounds counterintuitive because whenever I've done anything like that, first thing is Teflon tape on the threads of the neck.
Got to have something on there.
So I
right?
went and talked to a couple of the guys there, and I said, what do you guys think about this? And they said, well, I don't know. I don't know if I would trust that. I said, yeah, that's kind of the way I felt. So I said, give me the Teflon tape. Got home, opened the thing up, and I'm reading the instructions because that's what I do. And on the outside of the package, it said Teflon tape not needed. On the instructions, it said, do not use Teflon tape
Really?
with it. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't. But somebody asked me, well, why would they say um, not required on the outside, but says do not in capital letters, do not on the instruction sheet?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, a manufacturing engineer wrote the instruction manual, and somebody from marketing communications wrote the copy on the package.
No. Well, I guess that makes sense, though.
Yeah,
It
then
does.
my wife put the empty container of the AA batteries on the counter. So when I went for the ribbon cutting, I said, well, I might as well go get some batteries. So I'm happy to have them there.
Mm-hmm. Where's this place at again?
It's at 2080 East Grand Avenue in my town, Lindenhurst.
Oh.
Yeah, it's matter of fact, it's 2 doors away from the Lynx, the golf simulator out there.
Ah. Well,
You,
it's
you still
really
haven't
close.
been there, have you?
No, I need the invitation to get out there to do it. So, I mean, I'm still trying to get out and play golf here. You know, if this weather can be consistent enough, but it hasn't been consistent. You know that.
Well, some of my friends have been out a few times already.
Yeah, they snuck out. You know, if you get a good day, you can do it. But it's like one day is semi good, and then next day it gets crummy out there. Gets
Well,
cold.
they didn't have to sneak because they were with my buddy who is a retired golf course manager.
Oh, that works.
So he didn't have any problem getting in.
All right, we need to take a break.
All right, let's take a break.
I'll take a break. We'll come back. We got more of the big show coming up. And don't forget about that other show at 7 o'clock. It's sizzling.
It is. Indeed, it always sizzles. Bacon bits.
With Marty Gillot. Back right after this here on 98.3 FM The Life.
WRLR 98.3 FM LP, Round Lake Beach, Illinois.
Hello, this is Ted Schneider, host of Improv Leadership, coming to you live on 98.3 FM The Life, Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'll discuss a variety of topics from relationship advice, self-improvement topics, motivational topics, mindful living, current events, book reviews, and even an occasional guest in the studio. So please join me on Improv Leadership, Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. on 98.3 FM The Life, or streaming live on 983thelife.com.
Programming on 98.3 The Life is sponsored in part by Oxtail Market in Lake Villa. Oxtail Market is a Schultze Family Farms retail store providing meat products direct from their own third-generation Wisconsin farms. Oxtail Market, they're bringing that farm-fresh experience of steaks and beef to their neighbors in Illinois. Oxtail Market is located at 777 South Milwaukee Avenue, that's Route 83, Unit J in Lake Villa. Their phone number is 224-372-1021. For more information, their website is schultzefamilybeef.com.
Hey, cats and kittens. Join me, Gray Dolan, Sunday mornings at 11 for Mood Swings with Gray Dolan. Each week we'll visit a different genre, style, and mood of music here on The Life 98.3.
If you're talking, they will hear you every single time.
Oh, we're getting killed.
Yeah, well, Kyle's not here.
How come?
Kicked off the team. Didn't Tim tell you? Kyle and some other kids got caught drinking beer in the park a couple of nights ago.
Really?
Yeah. Zero tolerance. He's out for the season.
Come on, it's a first offense, right?
That we know of. But why should that matter? He knew not to drink. I've made it clear to Matt that's what we expect from him. What have you said to Tim?
Nothing really. You know, a lot of kids try it at this age, so
Yeah, well, a lot of kids don't try it too. I'm not saying that Matt's going to be this perfect kid, but if I don't tell him what we expect and why he shouldn't drink, how's he going to know?
You think kids that age really listen?
They never admit it, Bill, but they hear more than you think.
Talk. They hear you. For more information about talking with kids about underage drinking, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Try.
WRLR 98.3 FM LP. Round Lake Beach, Illinois.
Welcome back to the big show. This is not big, Ron. 36 degrees, and we have snow showers in the area. And this is April 7th. Oh, my goodness. And we're going down to 22 degrees tonight.
Did you know April 7th is the new April Fool's Day?
Yeah, it sounds like it. Expected high tomorrow, 42, maybe 45 on Wednesday. We do warm up on the weekend. Finally, to this 50s, 60s, and then 70s when you get closer to Sunday. But I want to see it to believe it, if that could happen. Ah, my goodness. But I guess, as you said in the last half hour, it's better to be here than some other places. And I did find Lou. I didn't find him in the water, but he did make it back from Effingham. And Lou, what's it like downstate? I mean, you got out of there yesterday.
Well, first of all, it's always a pleasure to be on with Mr. Gray.
Thank you, Lou.
I thought you had like better company last week on the show.
Oh, I did.
You have this week, though.
I did, indubitably. But
I've heard that before. But okay.
On your way back, Lou, did you happen to pass by Noah?
Well, Saturday I was about to call him. We had, as you were going from my place, which is over on Lake Sarah, to the town, which is just to the east, which a lot of people are familiar with because it sits at the intersection of routes 57 and 70. So they travel frequently. It's one of those towns where maybe you stop for gas, but it is quite a nice town, and really I would recommend visiting. There is a resort lake.
Mm-hmm.
but you do go on roads that are adjoining streams and rivers, and those were just about at the point of if there's any more water, the road would be closed. And, I was remembering my CERT training and all the admonishments, of course, that everybody hears. Don't drive through standing water, because it did look like they were just at the point that the water would spread over the banks of the river and then onto the roads. However, we were fortunate that I don't think any roads were officially shut down in the immediate vicinity of the city of Effingham or Lake Sarah, which really adjoins it. It's pretty close to the town. Now, at the lake itself, what had been still drought conditions since last summer, and where the lake level was exceptionally low, by Saturday afternoon, the water was threatening to come up over the docks, and I was at the point I was taking some preparations, removing stuff from my dock area. We have a small boathouse, and I was afraid of flooding there, so I was going to turn off electricity and some of the appliances that we keep in there. But fortunately, it got just to the point where it was about to come over, and the rain stopped, so we didn't have to call for the ark.
Have you ever seen something like this since you moved down there?
No, I mean, I've been down there since 2020,